So now we've done all the screening that we need to do. We've done the active straight leg raise, we've gone through passive hamstring range of motion, passive hip flexion range of motion, the prone hip extension test, and also the trunk flexion test. Now we need to go through the different correctives. So in each of these videos, no, this is shit. Now we've done the active straight leg raise and the passive hamstring flexion mode. Now we've done the active straight leg raise and we've done the passive hamstring range of motion assessment. And we found there's a little bit of problems there. So here's the first corrective exercise that we're going to do to help deal with that. This is called the leg lowering drill. Now this drill can be done in two ways. It can be done using a band or a towel around the foot, or it can be done using a squat rack or a wall to support your foot up against. We're going to use the band because this is the easiest way to do it in most gyms and for our clients to do it at home. So we're going to go into this exercise in quite a great amount of detail. So for our setup, what we're going to do is need the client laying down. With the band, simply loop it around the foot, just around the ball of the foot. The passive range of motion part is pulling the leg up as high as you can, keeping the leg locked out and the foot dorsiflexed. If a client goes up against a wall, for example, or a support, and they can't do that, they start bending their knee, go back and find the point where they can get to the range of motion with their leg locked out. This is really important because what we're doing the whole time here is getting a passive hamstring stretch. With the foot dorsiflexion, so the toes pointing towards the head, what we're trying to achieve is a stretch out through the calf muscles as well. So we lay down, hold here. The next thing you want to do is work on setting the rib cage and setting the breath. When we coach any exercise, we're always looking at how it carries over to everything else we do. So this is a really important thing, a really important habit to get in straight away. I'm going to see it with the other exercises as well. So from here, I'm up, locked out. I'm going to take a big breath in, expand the whole rib cage, breathe out, and bring my ribs down. What this is going to do is engage the core muscles. So we're going to create proximal stability for distal mobility. So maintaining that position of the core engaged, the rib cage flared down. I'm going to point the toe on the other leg, so creating that dorsiflexion, and slowly bring that leg up to just past the other leg and back down again. I'm only going to go that far. If I go any further, you're going to round your back and lift it off the ground. So we're only going to limit what the active range of motion is while keeping down. For each set, you want to make sure you breathe out, hold, pause for a little bit to gain control of the range of motion, and back down. And you're going to do this 5 to 10 times each leg. So what are some of the common faults that we see? Well, the first one we've already addressed, where it comes where the client bends their knee. What they're trying to do is go past their passive hamstring range of motion threshold. Now this isn't a good strategy because what we're trying to do is increase that. So we should find a point where the person is comfortable. We're going to do this exercise on both sides as well. So looking at the knee is the most important thing. The next one is to look at the foot. So the client will point their toe. What they'll do is they'll take tension off their calf muscles and their gastrocnemius, so they won't be getting a stretch through there anymore. If someone's tight there, which we'll find out when we do the squat screen and look at ankle mobility, that's something that they'll do to avoid it. The next one is the core and the rib angle. So there's a few important things about this. When we're setting the rib cage down with that breathing out position, what we're doing is we're effectively creating a cylinder reflecting the diaphragm, the respiratory diaphragm and the pelvic diaphragm in perfect opposition to each other. What this does here is it creates a really solid and really stable core unit. And when we have that, what happens is our hamstrings will be able to get more range of motion. Sometimes if the core doesn't work super effectively, the hamstrings start doing its job, so they can also bring the pelvis under as well. When our core engages, particularly our obliques, it will slightly posterior tilt the pelvis. And that's important for this exercise because it allows us to get a little bit more stretch throughout the hamstrings. Next thing we'll see is people will flare in and they'll open that rib cage up and they're going to lose that opposition between the respiratory and pelvic diaphragm. So we cue that by getting people to keep the core down. We also need to look at the neck in this exercise. So if someone's straining their neck up, what's going to happen by virtue of a joint by joint approach, it's going to change mechanics through the thoracic spine and the rib cage as well. So if someone's struggling a bit to keep their head down and their chin tucked and maintain a normal thoracic position due to their excessive kyphosis, you may support them with a pillow. That works totally fine. The last and final thing that we need to be aware of when we're doing any corrective strategy is to look at the person's breathing strategy as they're doing it. Because if someone's breathing in, they're holding their breath, and they're really struggling through this exercise, they're not going to get the outcome that we want. What we want to do with all our movement optimization drills is we want the client to have a relaxed, controlled, calm breathing throughout that. Because what that is going to do, it's going to demonstrate and it's going to create ownership of that new range of motion. You can always tell if a client's not comfortable because they will hold their breath. So we only go as far as they can while they can maintain normal breathing. If we start to hyperventilate, or our clients start to hyperventilate and hold their breath, the nervous system will perceive that as some form of a threat. So what we need to do is avoid that, because when the body perceives a threat, muscles have a tendency to increase in their tension. So guys, that's the leg lowering drill. You're going to do about 10 reps each side. You can do this as part of a warm-up, or you can add it in between exercises on an upper body day.